I think we're seeing a real change in that we have now acknowledged universally across the world that this is an enormous problem: sexual harassment, misconduct, abuse, rape. Like it's, you know, it's a kind of a sliding scale of horror-bility, but it's pervasive, it's everywhere, and there are so many more victims than we ever really named before, and people are standing up and finding solidarity with each other, and now we're demanding actual change, legislative change, corporate change, educational change. We've got to, you know, train it out of people and change that toxic masculinity that was sort of taught to us by like 80s movie culture, like 16 Candles or Porky's or Animal House, which made it okay to commit date rape and it was the woman's fault because she was drunk, rather than, you know, that's date rape. How could you possibly take advantage of somebody who can't even speak? That's not cool. That's not fun. But that's what my generation of guys were brought up on. I mean, I grew up watching those movies. So we got to change the culture. So it can't just be punishment and naming and shaming. It's got to be prevention, because that's what we really want. We really want no one victimized. So that's the new goal.
And Mira. All right. Not on purpose.
This year coming up, I really want to see the Equal Rights Amendment passed. It's nuts that we don't have explicit equality in the Constitution. And I really want to focus this year on a preventative aspect of working with children in school from the young grades all the way up through the end of high school, on a comprehensive sex education that includes consent training, includes getting people to understand their physical rights in their physical bodies, how to say no to things and how to ask for consent, so we don't raise boys, because it's mostly boys who do this, some women, but mostly boys, who turn into men who commit these heinous crimes. This year we had some victories in California. I and a group of people working in lockstep with Equal Rights Advocates, which is a legal advocacy group out there. There's a group of laws called the Take the Lead laws, hashtag Take the Lead legislation, and 3 out of the 5 of these bills were enacted into law at the very end of last month by Governor Jerry Brown. And 5 of them had made it all the way through the California legislature, which was a feat because they went through a lot of hurdles. And we had been a part of that happening. Like, we were on the phone. I spent a whole day talking to assembly people and state senators and explaining why survivors everywhere cared about what California was doing on these bills, and that they stand with survivors and they make the California workplace a safer and more equitable place, one that doesn't silence the voices of victims, one that doesn't protect predators and makes it easier for people to seek justice if they are harassed. He did end up signing 3 really important ones. He didn't sign the one on the statute of limitations, but he did sign the one barring companies from putting into employee paperwork, either for employment bonuses or raises, clauses where people sign away their right to disparage, even if the behavior that they're decrying is true and illegal, and their right to claims, their right to sue.
To me, it's 12 cities and counties that are doing that, sir.
You just had an hour.
You had your Fox News.
The one grope policy. There's, sorry, I make this lewd hand gesture, but literally on the books in California, judges were interpreting the language to allow for one grope. So a person, there was a case in which a 911 operator, her coworker came up, I don't know if it was her supervisor or not, grabbed her breast while she was on a 911 call and honked, grabbed her breast, honked it like a, Ronald McDonald's nose, and then it was deemed not severe or pervasive enough by the courts to be qualified as sexual harassment, but she did actually get a sexual assault criminal prosecution, and he did time for that. But the civil statute didn't see it severe and pervasive enough, which is crazy. Imagine if somebody came up to you and grabbed your genitals and honked them. I mean, what? Like, how could people possibly do that? But that was considered okay in California. Now it's not.
To your right, ladies, to your right. Right here to your right, please. Top row, top row, top row.
This new law that we passed will make sure that our whole workforce is educated. There's going to be a community of auto protective whistleblowers. There's also bystander intervention training. So if you see someone else being harassed, you'll know what to do. You'll know how to help them. You'll know how to report it. So I think predators are going to have a lot harder time operating in this environment and getting away with it because of the changes to the contractual language. But, it's a start, but it was a victory for us. It's 19 million people that this will affect, 19 million working people in California. There's 40 million residents, but 19 million working people. So I feel proud of that. I feel proud that we put our energy into that and that happened.